Hey guys, John from Nothing But Cardboard here. Going to do a video today on tracking, USPS tracking, some stuff that you need to be aware of, keep an eye out for, and may help you not get something returned to sender or lost or stolen. So stay tuned. Alright guys, normally we'll say not a professional tax guy, but today I am a professional. This is what I do. I work at the post office, so I'm going to be giving you information that I know for sure, and hopefully some of this stuff will help you guys. Before we get started, I hope you leave a like, notification, so anytime we have videos coming up, you'll get them. Subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Maybe issues you've seen or things that you've done, or if this helps you out. Hey, John, I had a package that was going to get returned, and I used some of the tips you said, and I was able to get it before it got sent back. So we appreciate you guys, and we like hearing from you. So alright, I just want to talk to you about tracking. I'm going to try to keep this short as I can. First thing is, when somebody prints a label on eBay or so shows shipped, it's not always shipped. Sometimes they can click shipped and ask them the date. Next day, 2 days later, depends on where they live, when it's going to go out, how busy, whatever they are. So just because it shows eBay that it shows shipped on eBay, it doesn't mean that it's shipped. Until it actually shows on the tracking that the USPS has possession of the item, then it hasn't been shipped yet until that tracking scan shows up, usually. Sometimes your carrier picks it up, or you drop it in the box, it doesn't get scanned, and it gets halfway to its destination. The point I'm trying to make is, if you're mailing stuff, you want to get that prepaid acceptance scan. You want to either give it to your carrier, put it in the box with the flag up, or when you go to the post office, give it to the guy, say, hey, can you give us a scan for me, and make sure it gets scanned. One thing I want to say is, if you get to know your carrier, depending on where you live, if you're in an apartment, it's going to be tough. You're not going to know when he's coming and go out there. But if you live in a house or a rural area, or apartment where it's close to the boxes, try to get to know your guy. Talk to him, because if you build a relationship with him, you can help him out. If he sees something wrong, he can help you out. If apartment number's missing and he recognizes the name, he'll take care of it. If you're a jerk and he sees there's no apartment number, he's going to scan it and send it back. So it's good to get to know your guy and have a relationship with him, so that anytime you have a problem or an issue, you can work it out with him. He'll go the extra mile. Chick-fil-A gift cards, carriers, they love Chick-fil-A. Cold water on a day where it's hot outside. All those things are helpful to build your relationship. One thing you want to try to do is get the phone number to your post office. I think on the back of the slip, or if you call, look up online, the number it's going to give you is 1-800-ASK-USPS. It's going to send you to a call center. Normally they don't want you to have the direct line to your office, because if they can answer the call themselves and answer the question, then it saves the post office having to answer the phone and go through that all the time. So I'm pretty sure it's still that way, to where you have to have help desk first. So if you call the help desk, ask them, hey, can you give me the number to my post office in case we get disconnected? Like I said before, if you get to know your mailman, your carrier, sometimes he'll give you the phone number. He'll tell you, hey, don't tell him where you got it from, but here's the phone number. And that's going to come in handy later when I show you some of the other stuff that's going on. So try to get the phone number for the post office if you can. You want to track the package throughout the day. You'll see, all right, left Tampa, went to Atlanta, then it's out to whatever little town in Georgia, and then it says out for delivery. So we scan it, scan the poll. When we scan the poll, that's when it shows out for delivery. 9:30, 10, whatever time it is, it shows out for delivery. Just because it shows out for delivery doesn't mean you're going to get it. So you want to keep track of it until the carrier actually puts it in his vehicle, takes it out, delivers it, and sticks it in your container. I had a problem yesterday where I ordered some cards and they showed delivered, and it was like 2 o'clock, and it's a Monday, so I know my guy doesn't get here till 4:30, 5 o'clock on Monday. So I was a little concerned, but I was keeping an eye out. Wait for your guy. If you have an issue, talk to him. Again, this is where if you have a relationship, it's not going to be like, hey, yo, where's my card? And you start getting into little fisticuffs and problems. You want to be nice to the guy, like I said, because he can take care of you and help you out with the cards. If he's got big stuff to bring to the door, if you got a signature and you're not home, he can sign for it and stick it somewhere before you save. That's how my relationship is with my guy. Of course, I work at the post office, and he knows that. So you want to keep an eye out on the scans throughout the day to track them, to see where it's at in case something like that happens. So here's some issues that you can have with your scan. It could say delivered, your mailman came, and you didn't get it. So a couple of things can happen. A ton of things can happen. Your regular guy's off, somebody else missed the scan, they got all the way down the street and they had to get back to the office or they had something to do. Your package got missorted and went to a wrong carrier, so the bosses have to scan it as something. They call it killing the clock. They get in trouble if it's not scanned during the day, so they will scan it to kill the clock on it. Usually if it's killed the clock, they re-give it to the carrier. If they have an extra person, they'll send it out that day and take it out, so it'll get delivered the next day. So you want to keep an eye on that, because if you see that, especially if it's 11, 12, 1 o'clock and you see that it was misdelivered scan and it shows that it's at the post office, you can call the post office and say, hey, I'm tracking this package, I saw what happened, what's going on. They would know where it's at based on what you tell them the scan was, and they'd be able to either get it for you and go pick it up, or they can explain, yeah, somebody screwed up, you'll get it tomorrow, sorry, whatever's going on. So you want to keep an eye on the scans to see what's going on. If there's an attempt late at night, 6:30, 7 o'clock, that's again a kill the clock scan that a supervisor's doing just to kill the clock. Something happened to the package, it got missorted or whatever, it left the office, it went out, but it didn't get delivered for whatever reason, so they're killing the clock late at night. Another thing you need to look out for is return to sender. Something's wrong with it. No such number. Apartment number's missing. The name doesn't match. It's, 2 or 3 people living together in an apartment and somebody's name's not on there. Something different. So you want to keep an eye out on those. If you see something like that where it says return to sender, you need to call the post office in the morning. Most of the bosses are there 7 or 8. Carriers don't show up till 8, 8:30. They're not leaving till 9, 9:30. So don't feel like you got to call at 7 or 8 in the morning. They're usually busy trying to get the day together. So if you call, you may have a hard time getting through, but just try to call in the morning, talk to them, say, hey, this is what's going on. Can you help me out? They'll say, yeah, I know where it is. Let me talk to your guy. I know who was on yesterday. Carriers work 5 days a week. They rotate days off. They have a guy that covers 5 different routes. So you'll have usually your regular guy 5 days, and then another guy that does your route once a week, that knows your route, knows the area, and it rotates each week. Sometimes shortage of people everywhere. McDonald's, you see it all over the place. So you may have 4 people doing the route that day. So your guy's off, they don't have anybody to cover. So one guy's carrying the first 2 hours, another guy's carrying the middle part, and then somebody else is carrying the end. So when you normally get your mail, that day it may be different because they're doing their whole route first, and they're going to carry whatever hour, 2 hours they have off of that route later. So sometimes just because your mail doesn't come when it normally does, it could be one of those little instances also. I wouldn't call the post office for that because they're just going to get aggravated with you. I would only call if you see misscan or it was attempted and you never saw it, you were home, they didn't leave a notice, they didn't do anything. Those are the things you should call them, but it's just something to be aware of, that there's some issues that happen that's outside of their control with the people. So we're going to keep a track on the tracking, have the phone number so you can call if you can. Here's some things that the post office tracking shows that you will not see on yours. It'll show a picture of the item. So when we scan the item underneath the machine, it takes a picture of it and it tells them which route it goes to and they throw it. So when the supervisor pulls in your tracking number, they can pull up a picture so they can see what they're looking for. Okay, it's a 5x9 box, it's a padded mailer, it's a big box. So that helps them to know how to look for it or where it's at. It also has a picture of the address because you have to scan the label, which is on the front. So if something's missing, they may be able to see it. If part of the label's missing, or if it got smeared or smudged or something happened to it, they'll be able to see that. So they have a picture which is going to help them with the locating the package or determining what the issue may be. Another thing is it's going to have who scanned it. When we scan, we have to scan our badge. The badge says carrier ID, whatever person it is, so they know which carrier had it from the scans. Like I was saying before, you may have a different guy doing it. They would know who was on, who scanned it. They would be able to talk to that guy and say, hey, this guy didn't get this, what happened? A lot of times you have issues where some of the numbers are the same. If you live in an apartment complex, sometimes they're all 8818, but then you got building A, building B, building C, building D, there's first floor, second floor, third floor, and they got the same numbers in them. So sometimes that can happen. Here I'm 24320, one street, and there's a 24320 like 3 streets away, which is a different name completely. So sometimes it's just dyslexia, or they're in a hurry, it's hot outside, they're sweating, they got a lot going on, so sometimes that is an issue that can happen. So they'll be able to tell from the scans which guy scanned it and when he scanned it. Another thing they can do is, and they're not going to tell you all this stuff, so don't call up and say, hey, I want the guy's name, badge number, whatever, who did that, because they're not going to tell you. This last one they're not going to tell you either, because they don't want any problems, and for legal, they cannot. But they can look up and see exactly where the package was scanned. It gives them longitude and latitude, and they can plug it in and it'll show a picture. It was scanned there. If you live in a house, that's great because it'll show where it was scanned. If it's an apartment complex, you got a bank of boxes not far apart, it's just going to show that it was scanned, then it may not narrow it down to exactly where it was at, but they're going to know the area where it was at. And again, they're not going to tell you, so you go knock on the guy's door and say, hey, where's my package? It was delivered yesterday. I know you got it, give it to me. But they're going to be able to talk to the carrier and say, hey, check this address when you go out because it was delivered there, and get it back from the guy. So that's another reason you want to be paying attention so that you can call. You don't want to wait 2 or 3 days later, the guy's off, he doesn't remember, something happens. So you should be tracking your packages to keep an eye on them just to see exactly what's going on, and if anything's messed up, you're able to get on it in a hurry. So, alright guys, that's all I got for you. I just thought I'd give you some information on tracking. United States Postal Service tracking. People get us mixed up sometimes with the brown guy, UPS, USPS, so this is just for our tracking. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Any comments, again, we appreciate those, and you guys have a great day.